everyone! Welcome back to a bullet journal plan with me. We have a different surface this month because I got a new table and I'm trying out different props, but I might just go back to fairy lights since these brush pens and color pencils feel out of place for digital bullet journaling. Anyways, the theme for August will be the life of chocolate. The cover goes from cacao pods on the trees to cacao nibs to chocolate bars to sweets. I also edited out a lot of the drawing since I usually more or less draw that out ahead of time, but let me know if you prefer to see the actual drawing bit. I just wanted to make the video more condensed. Also, apologies for this video being late again. I was simply procrastinating on editing this video. I hope you can still take inspiration for future months if you have already done your August setup, which if you have, let me know what theme you used. For the tree leaves, I dotted in the leaves with 3 different shades of green to give a sense of depth and contrast. It's an easy way to fill a tree without drawing all of the individual leaves. And then I also filled in like really opaque green behind all of the leaves to make the tree look fuller. I'm using a decently simple color palette with different shades for green and brown. Yellow and magenta is there to add a pop of color. Fun fact, cacao pods can come in different colors depending on the tree. So a ripe cacao pod for one tree might not be a ripe one for the other tree, but the inside looks the same. Here's a drawing of what the inside of the cacao pod looks like. The cacao beans are covered by this murky white layer, and the skin of the pod is an off-white color, even though I went with gray here. So with chocolate, I tend to use darker brown to fill in areas that are supposed to have shadows, but I do alternate the colors often for maybe a different percentage of chocolate. Basically, the difference in colors add more variety and dimension to the piece of chocolate. The other really important thing about this theme is highlights. We want that shine on the chocolate to say that it's a well-tempered chocolate, but also to give more complexity. Although I'm repeating the use of brown for the chocolate themselves, I'm able to use bright colors to put designs for more variety. Like here, I imagine these two to be similar to a smaller version of Snickers and Twix bar with that caramel drizzle. Then these are fancier chocolates with nuts and textured designs. My headers will be in cursive, and for this header, I used the turpentine brush from the painting section with different colors to go over what I wrote and add fun colors to the title. I added some lines for a broken circle to keep everything together, and the background looked empty, so I added leaves falling from the tree to fill in that space, and it's done! We can copy and paste this into Goodnotes. The monthly page is the first inner page of the month. I'm starting from the beginning of chocolate, which are cacao trees, pods, and cacao nibs, which are made by crushing cacao beans, fermenting, then drying and roasting them. And these nibs are basically messy 3-dimensional triangles and rectangles with a few dots when translated into bullet journaling style drawing. And don't forget the highlights on these as well, it's the details. At the bottom are the cacao trees, which I drew a few of them and then copy and pasted the rest to be in the background. You could also always not copy and paste and draw a different tree each time with different branches. That's awesome too. What inspired me to do this theme is a visit to a sustainable cacao farm where the owner himself went over the process, and we even got to taste the cacao beans fresh from the pod, which I wouldn't really recommend. It's very earthy. Cacao definitely tastes better after it has been fermented and roasted. The process for these trees are similar to the cover one, where I filled in the pods with a light to dark shade to show them ripening or being ripe and ready for harvest. The leaves for these trees are smaller, but I'm using the same shades of green. Lastly, I colored the background with an opaque light green color, and voila! A nice little piece for the monthly page. Next up for the habit tracker, it is how chocolate is made. Since I really like the circles set up for my habits from last month, I have some space in the margin, and that's perfect for what I wanted to do. Up top we have sugar, which may or may not be an ingredient depending on the type of chocolate, cocoa butter, and chocolate liquor or liqueur, which does also contain cocoa butter. I was just excited that I got to draw melted chocolate being poured on more chocolate. The stacks of chocolate are some variety of the ones in the cover. There are some more squared ones that I added in to break up like that roundedness, and they're super simple to do. It's kind of like a cube but flattened. I'm sure a lot of us have like doodled cubes in class when we're bored sometimes, so that's exactly what it is, just flattened and stacked on top of one another. In the end, I also went back to label what the ingredients are so that it's not confusing later on what these cubes and broken rectangles are. I've also been trying to change my cursive style up, and I think this is slightly different from what I'm used to. I don't know. Tell me if you still think it looks the same. Here's the colors I'll be using to fill in the tracker. I used the highlight tool and went over it twice to get less opacity and basically darker color. And my mood tracker is the end of the process, which is when chocolate becomes sweets. The most exciting bit for a lot of people, probably. This grid resembles a chocolate box, you know, those ones during Christmas with different chocolates in each slot, but there's less detail here for the box. The focus is all on the chocolate. And then the chocolate themselves are also simple shapes because the moods will be the designs on top. For a little decoration, I drew a mini box for one chocolate. Again, I'm using the same color I've been using throughout this theme. And you might have guessed it, but my mood is based on the type of chocolates. A bad mood is bitter, a so-so day is semi-sweet, and a good day is sweet. Super simple 3-color mood charts because I didn't want to pull in all types of chocolate. I realized I only had 30 boxes, so I modified the chocolate at the bottom to not have designs, and that would be my 31st chocolate for the month of August. And here's how I'm putting my mood in. I've always wanted to try a mood tracker where I can customize each day rather than filling in something the same way, and I think this turned out well for the purpose, and I'm excited to fill in my mood. My notes page has the same style as my mood tracker with the box of chocolate, and there are also bigger boxes for my notes. These chocolates have slightly different shapes from the previous page, though. They're not completely oval or completely triangle. They're those like weird chocolate shapes. Here I also get to show you some of the other chocolate designs that I saw on Pinterest, and I thought they looked cool, and they look so good. It would be so fun to get to do these designs on a real chocolate, but I imagine it would be very messy for a beginner. I've also wanted to go to a chocolatier, like not C's Candy, which is like a chain chocolate store in America. Don't know where they originate from, but like one that's more local and like quaint, I guess. I also pre-made the circles for the notes page this time to save some time when actually writing notes. And that's all, super simple. For the weekly this month, I went with a different setup, taking some advantage of the ability to split the screen on the iPad. This bears more resemblance to an actual notebook, and I'm able to break up the days in a week into 2 pages. I also tried doing cursive in Goodnotes app rather than copying pasting from Procreate, and it's not too bad. I usually don't do cursive in Goodnotes because my hands are too shaky. I need the streamline feature to help, but I'm practicing this time. In the middle, I'm pasting in a bunch of chocolate I drew before and rearranging them into a design. Some are off the edge and one is like in between the pages. I did that by having the same drawing on both pages and moving them to line up. For the ones off the edges, I used the crop tool to cut off some parts and line the drawing up with the line on the page. I made a green opaque background as well to go in the box, since it looked a little empty with just the white background. Oh, and don't forget to highlight what week you're on if you're like me and needs a monthly visual all the time. That is all of the August pages for now. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. I'm still considering if I want to do a video for the rest of the weeklies, so let me know in the comment section. Otherwise, I'll just post them on my Instagram and you could check it out there. And with that, I'll see you later.